Hey, this is Corey from Wolfpack Woodcraft. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at the Coleman Blackout Tent. Now, one of my favorite tents is the Coleman Budget Tent that runs around $50 or less. Now, the Blackout Tent is a little bit more expensive, but it has a lot more features. So let's jump inside and I'll tell you what this tent has to offer, and then we'll come back out here where I will set it up. All right, so we're gonna talk about the specs of this tent really quickly, and then we're gonna head back outside where you can see it all set up, and I'll go over everything out there. But first, let's talk about what I have here. I have a Coleman 4-person tent. Now, it doesn't matter what the tent is, I always knock a person off. So if it says it's a 4-person, I consider it a 3-person. This model comes in a 4-person and a 6-person option. And so again, I consider that a 3-person and a 5-person option. This is the standard dome model. So this is just like the budget tent that I originally reviewed. I took that one on my budget camping trip. That's the one that me and Caroline use all the time. The only difference between that one and this one is this one has the dark room technology. But there's also a model that comes with a little screen room in the front. This is not that model. This is just a normal dome tent. The dark room technology blocks 90% of sunlight, reducing heat in the tent. So I don't know if it actually does make the inside of the tent cooler, but it says sleep better, stay cool. It is darker. I already have it set up out there, and it is a much darker tent than what I'm used to. So I'm really excited about that. Some of the other specs that I think are important is the center height is 4 foot 11 inches. And so it's nice having that tall ceiling. It just makes changing your clothes easier. It makes inflating your mattresses easier. It makes making your bed and with the blankets or the sleeping bag or whatever, it just makes life a lot easier having that taller ceiling. Like I said, it fits 4 people, but they're packed in there like sardines. It fits 4 people, not 4 people in their gear, not 4 people, you know, they're really tight in there. And then the other thing that I like that they mention is that it only fits 1 queen size inflatable mattress. And so again, if you're going to bring a queen size inflatable mattress, you're only going to fit 1 in there. And so you would think that with a 4-person tent, you should be able to fit 2, but you're not going to be able to. You're only going to be able to fit 1. So again, that kind of goes back to it's a 3-person tent, not a 4-person tent. Over here, snag free. So the pole sleeves, the sleeves that the poles go through to set up the tent are snag free. They're supposed to slide in and out of that sleeve without catching or anything. Also, it has snag free zippers, and those zippers are really nice. Like I said, it's already set up, but the zippers work really well. WeatherTech, all the seams are taped. Everything is watertight, so it should be able to handle the elements. It has an E-port, so there's a little port in the front that you can run an extension cord through. And so if you're hooked up to a power source, you can run the extension cord through the front of the tent and then plug in your phone or other devices while you're camping. Illuminated reflective guidelines. And so again, these guidelines don't glow in the dark or anything, they just reflect. So if you have your headlamp on or your flashlight, it'll reflect the light back, and so that you're not tripping on them in the middle of the night. Rainfly Awning. So again, the Rainfly Awning, it just goes over the door a little bit. This isn't the one that has a little room up front. It just kind of goes over the door a little bit to keep it dry in severe rain. And so again, it doesn't have like a nice place to sit under or anything. Just keep that in mind. Storage pockets, we'll look at those outside as well. There's little storage pockets on both sides that you can put gear or your EDC in. And then it comes with its own carry bag that can extend. And so it comes in a very small bag, the size of this box, a little bit smaller than this box. But to get it back in there probably isn't going to happen. And so there's a spot on the bottom that you can cut open, and then it'll expand and get larger so that you can actually fit the tent in the bag, but the bag does get bigger. And then the other thing that I want to mention is there's a warning here about keeping flame and fire away from this material and how it can handle short bursts of flame, but it can't handle constant flame unless there are chemicals added. And so if a flame touches it for a split second, it's not going to destroy the tent, but but if there's a constant flame on it for a few seconds, it might melt or deteriorate the material. And of course, that's as long as there isn't any bug spray or seam sealer or any kind of chemical on there that would ignite faster than what they have here. So that's everything that I wanted to mention. Let's get outside and see this thing all set up. All right, so here's the tent all set up in its glory. We had some issues putting it up. This is definitely a two-person operation with the wind. And so tune in next week where we talk about the importance of setting up gear in your yard. But for the tent itself, it's a very simple design. There's two poles that run across. There's one single pole that runs on the fly. The pole structure it doesn't have the holes in the tent. It has the poles and the holes in the poles, and so they fit on top of each other, which isn't my favorite design. I would prefer to have the holes on the tent body so that I can use a stick or whatever I find as a tent pole. Where it has when the tent has the peg, you're kind of stuck using the poles that come with it, and if that pole were to break, you're kind of out of luck. So keep that in mind. The fly secures on very nicely. It has guy outs on the side of the tent that you can guy out for wind and ventilation. We're not doing that right now because it's just set up in the yard. But the darkroom technology is really nice. Going inside of this thing, it is much darker than it is out here. It's high noon right now. It's the brightest it's going to be. And inside here is much darker. And like they said, because of it repelling the light, repelling the sun, it's a lot cooler in here as well. And so let's go inside where I can show you some features of the tent itself. All right, so you might not be able to see, but this is much, much darker, or you might be able to see now because it was blown out there. But you close this door and it is much darker in here. And there's lots of room. There's organization pouches. There's a loop up top that you can hang a lantern from. There's a pouch on the other side as well for organization. There's windows, so you have your front door window, you have your back window. But the main feature, the main thing that this is going to be known for is its ability to put your kids to bed early. You know, when it's middle of summer, the sun usually sets really late. Here in Minnesota, it can be anywhere from 9:30 to 10 o'clock at night before that sun sets. So if you want to put your kids to bed at 9, they have a nice dark room to fall asleep in. Or if you like to sleep in, this is a good way for you to sleep in as well because it stays dark enough in here where you can sleep comfortably until high noon like it is right now. So this is a really good option. If this holds up just as well as the budget tent that I have, this is going to probably be my new go-to budget. It's not really budget, it's more expensive than the budget tent, but this is going to be my go-to tent for 4-person, 3-person camping. When me, Caroline, and the dog go out, right now we bring the budget Coleman, but I can see us bringing this one instead because it is cooler, it is darker, and it performs really well. If you want to see the importance of setting up a tent like this in your backyard, make sure to tune in next week where we talk about using gear in your backyard before you take it miles out into the woods. And then make sure to subscribe and like this video. If you like watching these little reviews and seeing tent videos, make sure to let me know by hitting that like button. And I can't wait to see you in next week's video.